Don't tell me that positive thinking doesn't work wonders.
I'm Protestant, I'm Presbyterian, and I go to church and I love God and I love my church. And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale was my pastor. The power of positive thinking. Everybody's heard of Norman Vincent Peale. He was so great. He would give a sermon you never wanted to leave. Sometimes we have sermons and every once in a while we think about leaving a little early, right, even though we're Christian. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Frank, would give a sermon. I'm telling you, I still remember his sermons. It was unbelievable. And what he would do is he'd bring real life situations, modern day situations, into the sermon. And you could listen to him all day long. When you left the church, you were disappointed that it was over. He was the greatest guy. And then, you know, he passed away, but he was a great... He wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, which is a great book.
Today is a really wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And when we started this ministry, it was my mentor, my hero, my counselor, Norman Vincent Peale, who started me in this work 35 years ago. I am so thrilled he's back with us today. He has a new book which I wanted him to talk about. You know his book, The Power of Positive Thinking. This is his newest book, The Power of Positive Living.
Don't tell me that positive thinking doesn't work wonders. So what do you want to be? Ask yourself that question. Don't dodge it. What do you want to be? Then dedicate it to Jesus Christ along with your whole life. And don't doubt it. Believe. And then form a picture in your mind of that goal. Hold it tenaciously in the conscious mind until by process of intellectual osmosis it sinks into the unconscious, and when it gets into the unconscious, you have it because it will have all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Come on. Yes. Yes. What I was hearing the Lord say was, "This is my son, with whom I'm well pleased." Yes. The Lord was showing me how you, Mr. Trump Donald, as a little boy and growing up, that you were a good son. You had a good father. The Lord is saying, I'm your father. And I have prepared you for this time, for such a time as this. You have been groomed and prepared for this kind of battle. God has given you the backbone and the courage to say yes to this challenge. And I just want to go ahead. I know you want to add to this. No, keep going. What I was hearing the Lord say was, "This is my son with whom I'm well pleased." The Lord was showing me how you, Mr. Trump, Donald, as a little boy and growing up,
was willing to put himself in jeopardy for what he believes, and will help us economically and spiritually and in every way in this nation. So today we pray for Donald Trump.
Yes.
We pray for his family. We pray for his associates. We pray that what he has heard today from those who have spoken into his life, he will consider. Lord, I pray that you will bring into his life a strong African American who can stand with him and represent that community so that his voice will be heard even in a stronger way there. Lord, whatever it is you're going to do to bring around him the right people as he moves forward in this campaign, we ask you to give him direction and give him hope. And Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here for this special moment. Perhaps we'll look back on this day and remember that we stood together and we prayed over the next president of the United States. Thank you, Lord.
Wisdom.
Let him ask of God.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
Who giveth liberally to all men.
Glory.
And upbraideth not. But let him ask in faith.
Yes, Lord.
Nothing wavers.
Yes, Lord.
For any man that wavers is like the blowing wind on the water.
Yes, Lord.
Let not that man think he shall receive anything from the Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
No man can be successful as President of the United States without your wisdom.
Yes, Lord. That's right.
And so we ask you today
Yes, God. Yes.
to give this man your wisdom,
Yes, God.
boldly
Yes, God.
make sure
Yes, Lord.
and certain that he hears.
Yes. Yes.
Manifest yourself to him.
Yes, God.
And we thank you and praise you for a bold man, a strong man, and an obedient.
Yes.
Don't tell me that positive thinking doesn't work wonders.
I got a phone call. He was watching Christian television, and he called up and said, "Hey, you're fantastic," and repeated almost verbatim 3 of my sermons on value of vision. A friendship formed and relationship, not just with Donald, but also with his staff, with his family, with his children, with his friends. And it's been quite interesting. And I'm really excited that especially at the convention, you saw so many of his friends, family, the kids come forth and begin to talk about and express that other side that I think people are so curious about.
When I heard the word come up, my spirit was caught up to heaven. And I appeared at the council of the prophets. And Abraham was seated there, being the chairman of the council. And when I stood on the right side of Abraham, and as soon as I came there and I looked at Abraham, just a little later, I saw the spirit of Donald Trump appear there. And Abraham looked at me and he said, "It has been decided in heaven that Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States of America."
Oh.
And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale, was my pastor.
God, we thank you
for an opportunity to speak about the hearts of those who sometimes cannot fight for themselves. Thank you for this moment to be able to share our hearts with the President and his administration. Dr. King said, we cannot influence a table that we are not seated at. And so we pray that this conversation will be fruitful and productive and honoring of the best traditions of this nation. Yes. We further pray that you will continue to give wisdom and insight to our President and his leadership team to be what our nation needs to build this country from the inside out, that we will continue to be a beacon of hope and light around this world.
He didn't talk about his mountain, he talked to his mountain. When you face challenges, don't get discouraged. Speak favor over them. Look at your bank account and speak favor to it. I will lend and not borrow. What I touch will prosper and succeed. Speak favor over your health. This sickness is not the end. This pain is not permanent. The favor of God is bringing healing.
Boring file clerk says, what's your view of the current Pope? You know, the Pope has obviously been reaching out and has been a force of moderation in comparison to his predecessors. What do you make of it?
I think the Pope is fantastic. You know, I just think his tone, his humility, his, you know, I loved when he said the other day, you know, and it's our view too. We're not trying to, you know, make this a little bitty narrow thing. Anybody's welcome. We may not agree, you know, 100% on doctrine and theology, but you know what? The church, Catholic Church, our church, it's open for everybody. So I like his tone, not pushing people away, but I believe God's big and his mercy is very wide.
Because we don't agree. I'm talking about a love that makes me fight for you even though I don't see what you see. I'm talking about a love that makes me cross the bridge of understanding away from my fearful place. I'm talking about a bridge that makes me see you face to face. I'm trying, girl. See, because it is the super soul session. And so when something touches your soul, you can't help but get excited about it. This is not something that you can be cerebral about and ponder and process. This is something that you feel in your soul and your toes start moving like, I don't know this dude, and he is a little big. He can work out a little bit, but I like what he is saying. And it's agreeing and connecting with the inner part and core of my being. That's what we need.
I'm excited to give you an update about our own YouTube channel. So here's just a taste of some of what you'll see.
I use comedy when I preach because I'm going to give a whole lot of sugar with my medicine. Oh, with the leg. Ah.
Look at your bank account and speak favor to it. Hey, Mr. Trump, thank you so much for calling.
Hi, Joel and Victoria. Nice to be with you.
Well, we're very honored that you're calling on our first broadcast for Sirius Radio. Couldn't be more honored than to have you with us.
Well, it's my honor, and it's great to have you in New York. And I'll tell you, you're going to bring a big blessing to the city. We could use more of you folks. I can tell you that.
We thank you that the cloud that is over this president, this demonic collective composition of global witchcraft and curses, command the cloud to be blown back.
Listen, in your spirit, you are brand new, born again, and as righteous and as much like Jesus. You are Jesus in your spirit. You are Jesus in your spirit.
And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale, was my pastor.
As Trump says, every nation will keep his language, his culture, his beliefs. It's not globalization.
Okay.
It's to walk one God on Temple Mount.
What is a Muslim? Let's talk. What is a Muslim? Muslim in the Hebrew world is perfect. Whomever talks to God is perfect. According to the Quran, Ibrahim was Muslim. Moses was Muslim. He was perfect, and they got into a conclusion that the Messiah will be their Mahdi. Their Mahdi. So whenever I meet Muslims in many countries, I tell them, who was Muslim according to the Quran? Abraham, I'm from Ibrahim. Moses, Musa, I'm from Musa, I'm Levi. And the Mashiach, Messiah, will be the Mahdi. So actually our history is the same, our future is the same, so what is the problem now? And this is really, what is the problem? I'm saying the problem is only the radicals, they're the terrorists. But whenever everybody will support building the third temple, then everybody will prosper, because this is what the temple is for the whole world.
So you think that there could be some union between all the religions as
Absolutely. We already have unity, but everybody's afraid from the terrorists. But okay, so this is our job, to unify everybody to worship the only true living God in the third temple with all the nations that will worship God.
So you think that there could be some union between all the religions as
Absolutely. We already have unity.
As Trump says, every nation will keep his language, his culture, his beliefs. It's not globalization.
Okay.
It's to walk one God on Temple Mount.
This is the original mold of the second Trump, Cyrus Trump temple coin. And as you can see over here, let's see what we have. Okay, first of all, we have over here in Hebrew, Lemalot 70 Shana, to fulfill 70 years.
It's great to be with you. What's amazing about Christians United for Israel is not just the power of your voice, it's also the importance of the cause you have dedicated your voice to. We live in a world in which terrorist groups and even some countries openly call for Israel's destruction. On many college campuses, the anti-Semitic BDS movement has become a trendy cause for students and professors who should know better. Standing up against this global pressure campaign on Israel and the Jewish people goes to the heart of our friendship and the heart of America. And the tip of the spear is Christians United for Israel. What you are doing is so important, and may God bless you for it. Our demand for fairness for Israel is actually a demand for peace. That's what Christians United for Israel is all about. And I know that in the dangerous world we live in, it is absolutely critical for America to stand up and have the backs of our friends and to stand strong against those who would do us harm. When the reality of Israel's existence is accepted, both sides will become freed to achieve a durable peace. With your help, and believe me, your help is critical, America will continue to stand with Israel. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
We made this coin with Nikki Haley, with the symbol, the emblem of Israel, the menorah, the lamp of the temple, and the building of the United Nations, and against it, the building of the new United Nations that should be built in Jerusalem, and only in Jerusalem. And the law and the international law will be according to the Bible. In some very famous speeches that she gave in the United Nations and out of the United Nations, she attacked UNESCO, she attacked the Committee for the Human Rights. She said that honest people shouldn't be there at all, and she thanked on the legitimacy of the United Nations and so on. And she support Israel, and she said all the United Nations, all his agenda is to destroy the state of Israel. It's a weapon. It's a weapon. It's to turn the world to the temple, to the promises of the Lord, that everyone will understand that if only will be a temple on the Temple Mount, it will be peace with the Arabs, with the Muslims, with the Christians, with the nations, and especially with the ones that created the world.
Recognizing the importance of the Temple Mount to peoples of all three monotheistic faiths, Jews, Muslims, and Christians, Israel reaffirms its commitment to upholding unchanged the status quo on the Temple Mount, in word and in practice. As we have said many times, Israel has no intention to divide the Temple Mount, and we completely reject any attempt to suggest otherwise. We respect the importance of the special role of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, as reflected in the 1994 peace treaty between Jordan and Israel, and the historical role of King Abdullah II. Israel will continue to enforce its long-standing policy. Muslims pray on the Temple Mount, non-Muslims visit the Temple Mount. Israel believes that those who visit or worship on the Temple Mount must be allowed to do so in peace, free from violence, from threats, from intimidation, and from provocations. We will continue to ensure access to the Temple Mount for peaceful worshipers and visitors while maintaining public order and security. We welcome increased coordination between the Israeli authorities and the Jordanian Waqf, including to ensure that visitors and worshipers demonstrate restraint and respect for the sanctity of the area, and all this in accordance with the respective responsibilities of the Israeli authorities and the Jordanian Waqf. We support the call for the immediate restoration of calm and for all the appropriate steps to be taken to ensure that violence ceases, that provocative actions are avoided, and that the situation returns to normalcy in a way that promotes the prospects for peace. We look forward to working cooperatively to lower tensions, stop incitement, and discourage violence.